it's always nice to bring something completely natural into the house. We live in a world that's so unnatural and artificial that we should take a step back, and wood is I guess the cheapest natural material we can use. So I've got a couple of shelves upstairs in the extra bedroom right now, and they're basically pine boards that I picked up last year. We had to get something up to get all the books off the floor and to sort of clean up the mess a bit. But this year I decided to improve that shelf a little more. There's an entryway where this sits, so I already cut this 45-degree angle off to make it a little easier to walk in and out of it. But that was just done on the miter saw. The other thing I need to do is sort of just give the surface a quick sanding, because this is an unfinished surface and it's collected a lot of dust. A light sanding, and then just put on some boiled linseed oil or some kind of oil to help rejuvenate the wood a little bit. So the other thing I really need to do is get rid of these sharp corners. That's fairly easy to do with hand tools. I was going to fire up the router, but I guess decided to take the exercise. But this method doesn't take very long. So I just finished the front edge, so this is where I'm going to be reaching for books and stuff. But on the back side here, I'm going to, even though it's going to be up against the wall, I'm going to take down the corner just a little bit, not as much as the front, because it doesn't really matter. You can feel the grain on some of these features. So even though some things are going this way, some are going this way, I'm just planing them flat enough that I can give it a light sanding. So even though this is the back side towards the wall, I still think it's important to pay some attention to it. Because, well, you'll always know that you didn't do the back side. I think it's important to pay some attention to the underside of drawers and the backside of cabinets, just because, I don't know, I think it's important. I think even though you won't look at it all the time, someday you might, especially when you have to move in, you're like, turn it around, you're like, oh my god, the back is so damn ugly. I don't know if you ever experienced that. When you turn a piece of furniture around and you're like, wow, amazed by its ugliness. So I don't think you have to make it a 10, but at least make it like a 6. You know, the front can be a 10, the back, and then the parts that I'm not seeing shouldn't be a 0, should be a 6. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think that'll take a stain nicely. So now I'm going to work on this edge here. So, just gotta finish this a little bit, and the shelf is pretty much ready. So this was pretty much the cheapest wood I could find at my local big box store. So, when you can't afford or don't want to pay for the imported, I think they have a lot of the New Zealand pine that's just soft as butter and have 0 defects. They're really nice looking pine. I think it's just a little bit expensive, at least for me. I think I would rather pay for more expensive hardwood than the New Zealand pine. I mean, if you find a good lumber mill, the cost of your hardwood is going to be minimal. Alright, so I'm just finish things off by applying a bit of linseed oil. Let it dry, and maybe a second coat, maybe not. It's going to offer the wood some protection, and it's going to enhance the grain a little bit. So this is a pretty simple project. You can turn a piece of board that's relatively cheap. These boards are actually cheaper than buying part of the board that has the laminate on top of it. And I went with these, even though it's, you can tell this one is bent. And that's okay. You just put it on the shelf, a couple of supports, and the books will just weigh it all down. Do a little bit to the side that you don't see, the underside. The underside should definitely be coated, should be as nice as the top side, because you can always see the bottom of a bookshelf, especially if it's open like the one I have. I think it's important to, even for a simple project like this, to do it well. When a person does the simple things well and pay attention to it, it just adds up from there. A complex project is just a series of simple steps. I went to a couple of craft shows and flea markets, and every now and then there'll be a vendor there and they'll make stuff made from wood. I look at it and it just makes me think that why are they selling this? Are they not embarrassed by this product? And I guess they're not. I think the whole idea of rustic has totally destroyed the furniture. I don't know, I think rustic is just a word that is kind of lost its meaning, Kind of like how there used to be a word called recycling, and now the hip term is upcycling. And, vinyl used to be out, but now all the hipsters are going after the vinyls. What was I talking about? Yeah, so I think you can tell a lot by how a person does something simple. Something like finishing a board or sweeping the floor. And that should tell you a lot about what a person is like. Alright, so now I can walk in without having to worry about the corner catching my shoulder. So this was a pretty simple project. It was actually very enjoyable to do. I got 2 more shelves to do over there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again next time.